This is the Maximum Cricket Podcast, and for the final time this series, let's talk about Day 5 of the third Test between England and New Zealand.
It's a yes-bang maximum, the first of this contest. Oh, that is brilliant. It's a hero maximum. On the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
I'm in a slightly better mood today, and I think it may be because there wasn't as much hope as yesterday. I think when you get your hopes up, when there's a bit of a twist, New Zealand have a chance, they seem on top, and England just knock you back down. That's when it gets you. But look, England just absolutely romped home today, which I think was expected, to be fair. There was a little bit of rain around, and obviously they got on eventually, and you knew that England were just going to pile on the runs, which they did. So they won by 7 wickets pretty convincingly in the end. Crazy to think that they were 55 for 6, 260 runs behind in the first innings, and they won by 7 wickets. So to start the day, Tim Southee bowled an absolute peach to clean up Ollie Pope to give a sliver of hope for the Kiwis. Just on Southee, I know he's had a pretty poor Test series by his standards. He's looked a little ragged. But I just want to remind everyone what he's capable of. So that in the last 4 years, he's taken 127 wickets at 25 apiece. In world cricket, only Stuart Broad and Pat Cummins have taken more wickets at a better average than Tim Southee. Southee also has 7 5-wicket bags. He has taken a fifer in England, a fifer in Australia, and he's even taken a fifer in India, and obviously in New Zealand. And not a single bowler in world cricket has taken more 5-wicket bags in that time. In each test, in the first test, they picked Patel on a green seamer, so the downer bowler there. In the next test, they pick Henry instead of Wagner. Henry's going at all sorts. It's probably not, I think they probably would have lost that test no matter what, considering how Wagner went this test. But in the worst one, this test, they picked a part-time spinner. The all-rounder didn't bowl. And poor Southee in this third test. Remember, New Zealand don't play a lot of 3-test series. This third test in about 4 weeks. He's running ragged. Southee will come back. He's going to have a break now, and he'll be back. Now, from there, that brought Johnny Bairstow to the crease. And from the minute he walked in, it almost felt like this game was going to be over quickly. 71 off just 44 balls. What a series for Johnny. It's a bit of a statement. It's kind of like the new... Johnny's sort of epitomising the new England. He's probably the most like Brendan McCullum in that England team. Potentially more talent, if we're being frank. So in this series, Bairstow has made 394 runs at an average of almost 80. But the incredible part is, it was at a strike rate of 120. That's a whole series, folks. That is New England right there. That should send shivers down the spine of the rest of the world, because that strike rate of 120 over that period of time, that's remarkable. Like, if someone had a strike rate of 120 in a T20, I mean, if they had it in a one-day international, you would lose your mind. But in a T20, that's, like, respectable. A little, like, bit of an anchor roll, but respectable. And then Root ended up on 86 not out, and he won Player of the Series. Now, just on Player of the Series, first of all, I hate a Player of the Series on each team. I know Daryl Mitchell was unbelievable. It was Daryl Mitchell, 538 runs at 107. He was remarkable, broke all sorts of records. But I think if you asked him, does he want a Dewey trophy after losing 3-0? I don't know. It feels weird. I think if you look at other sports, like, I don't know if you follow NBA, but I do. If they gave out a finals MVP to the loser, it would just be so weird. Like, think about LeBron in the NBA finals. He's 10 finals. He's probably MVP in every final except for 2011. So that's 9 finals MVP. Like, that's just weird. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sit right with me. Leave that sort of participation stuff at the juniors level, maybe. And so Root ended up winning Player of the Series. So do you think it could have been Bairstow? Because I'm just looking at the stats. And not to say Root wasn't amazing, because he was. Root, 396 runs at almost 100. It's pretty hard to argue that. But when you have Bairstow, 394 runs, so pretty much the same. Roots was not out twice as opposed to once, so the average is going to be a bit higher. But when Bairstow goes at 120, I just feel like there were moments like that. Trent Bridge. So moving forward, we'll do India and then we'll go to New Zealand. So England, quick turnaround. They've got to finish off that Test series from last year. So they're down 2-1. So just a little background. I've got money on this game because I'm actually kind of annoyed because I had money on India winning the series 2-1, which they're currently up 2-1. And I remember this time last year, they were heading into Manchester. Bear in mind, this is a different England team, as we were aware. Heading into Manchester, there was a lot of rain around, I believe, and India had just gone up 2-1. England looked shot. They would go on to lose. Actually, I don't think they won a game. I think they hadn't won a game until the series. So there you go. So that to me looked easy money. And then, unfortunately, India wanted to prepare for the IPL. Got a bit of COVID. Went home. And now they've got to play a completely new England team. Same people, different mindset. I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie. So I'm obviously wanting a draw for financial reasons. Don't judge me. But take that aside, I think England should be favourites going into this. I think India they're definitely a better side than New Zealand right now. It's fair to say. I think their bowling attack, when it's flatter, will offer a little more potency. Bumrah, you got Shami, and also like the big thing I think is how is England going to treat Ashwin or Jadeja, because they kind of had their way with New Zealand spinners, but I think like Ashwin's probably the best spinner of our generation. I think he's going to be very difficult to get on top. So is Jadeja. I know England will try. I think that will be quite a crucial contest. Like, can you imagine Ashwin versus this Johnny? It's very exciting. So that'll be key. So, and India sort of coming over late, it just feels like, and England is sort of rolling. So I think England will do a job, but I'm hoping for a draw for obvious reasons. For New Zealand, look, I've seen a lot of chat in New Zealand circles. Being a Kiwi, you hear a lot of noise about they need to change this and they need to change that. Now, I think we just need to look at England as a bit of an example, because that side there that just beat us 3-0 was pretty much the same team that won one test in 17 tries. The one thing that changed was a mindset. So when people talk about wholesale changes, they need to get rid of this, that, coach, and all that sort of stuff, I don't think that's fair. Look, selection has been a massive problem for a while, and I don't really know how they go about selections, but that will need to change. I don't know who's having a say. I do think New Zealand's missing the leadership of Taylor and Watling, even though we're getting the runs of Mitchell and Blundell. So there's a couple, obviously some positives. Like we sort of, if you'd said before the series, we'd set 300 3 times, that's job done. So technically the batting's actually done its job. It's probably the bowling, and I honestly put that down to selection. Like I said, every test we've been bowling with a bowler short. So I think they'll be right. I think it will be interesting to see when Colin Gonholm comes back, because obviously now that Mitchell's undroppable, someone in that top 7 will have to go, because Colin Gonholm is, I think they've missed him since he went out. And even said that, even after all the problems New Zealand have had and everything that's gone right for England, New Zealand could have easily won this test series 3-0. There was so many moments, like you think about that no ball to Stokes in the first test. England chasing 290 odd and 50 overs. Like if one of those, if Johnny gets one top edge and goes out, like we probably win that test as well. And then 55 for 6. I mean, come on, how often does that happen? So the stars will just align for England. I think as a New Zealand fan, we do need a mindset change. When you pick 8 batsmen in a test match, that's concerning. That reminds me of like 10 years ago when we were an average team. So I want to steer away from that. So I would like a more positive approach going forward. But I think they'll be back. They need to rest. They need to regroup, and they'll be back. So that is us for another series. We will do the England-India test. So I will catch you there. Thanks for the support, and take it easy.